Praise the Lord. Hi students, welcome back to Namagurugulu YouTube channel. Dear students, from this channel we have solved all the 40 questions from science part in the previous videos. So this is the video where we will be solving the multiple choice questions from mathematics part. We all know that mathematics questions will start from question number 1 to 40, 41 to 80 would be science, and 81 to 120 would be social science. Okay. Just a small note, dear students, we know that 120 marks question paper will be for 3 hours. That means the 40 questions which you are going to attend for one subject, you have to complete in 1 hour. So think of 40 questions in 1 hour. So somewhere you have to finish one question including shading within 1.5 minutes. So that is the maximum time you have. So you have to be very smart, not just finding out the answers. You have to be quick. Okay, being quick is what it matters. Let us try how to be quick with mathematics. Okay, so we have seen it with science. Let's go on with maths. Okay, so here comes the question number 1, which is already seen in the video. So the first question we have is, if a pair of linear equations, two equations are given, are parallel. He has given two equations saying that they are parallel to each other, then find the value of k. Okay, so before going into the options, let's solve it and find the value of k and then check for the options. As I told you, you have to be very fast solving it. At the same time, don't be in a hurry and make mistakes. Okay, you have to be smart also here. So for condition, you know that for the two lines to be parallel, the condition is a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2. That's not equal to c1 by c2. Okay, so take down the two equations given. So I have rewritten the given two equations in this form. So if you compare the variables here, so a1 is 3 divided by 2. This will be equal to coefficient of y is 2k. This divided by 5. Okay, this actually will not be equal to c1, which is minus 2 divided by 1. Obviously minus 2 by 1, you can check here. Therefore, compare the first two part. You will get 3 divided by 2 is equal to 2k divided by 5. Therefore, if you cross multiply, you will get 5 3s are 15 is equal to 2 2s are 4k. Therefore, the value of k would be 15 divided by 4. Okay, now check your options. The options you have is 15 by 4, 3 by 2, 5 and 4 by 15. Definitely the option right answer is option A, isn't it? Okay, let's mark it. Here I will be marking it directly, but in your main exam you will be having your OMR where you're going to shade. Okay, so we're going to see that later. Let's go on to the question number 2. Going on to the question number 2. The pair of equations, you have two equations given, has exactly two solutions, infinitely many solutions, unique solution and no solution. So if you have to find out how many solutions are there in a given equation, what you have to do it is you have to check whether the lines are parallel or coincident or intersecting. Okay, so let's take down the equations and check for what type of lines these are. So I have noted down the two equations, 2x minus 5y plus 4 equals 0. 2x plus y plus 8 equals 0. So let us equate the coefficients using the same condition. Let us check for 2 divided by 2. Yes, it is equal. Okay, if you check minus 5 by 1. Okay, definitely here itself 2 by 2. Actually 2 by 2 is 1. This is definitely not equal to minus 1 by 5, which is minus 5. Therefore, what actually you have a1 by a2 not equal to b1 by b2. This implies, what is the condition for this? This is the condition for intersecting lines, isn't it? So once the lines are intersecting, you can tell that the intersecting lines have a unique solution, isn't it? So unique solution or one solution. So check for the options. The options given are the unique solution is in option C, isn't it? So the right option for question number 2 would be option C, a unique solution. We are done with question number 2. Let's go for third question. The values of x and y when a point lies on the linear equation 2x minus 3y is equal to 2. 4 options are given, and now note it down, the students. Every time you cannot solve when a single equation is given for two unknown variables. Only the way to find the solution is by checking it. Okay, now it's up to you to check, and as I told you, you have to be smart enough. The right hand side is 12. Check if you put x is equal to 0, definitely when x is 0, there are no chances of this becoming 12. Now in the same way, you can try all the possible options. I will just give you the correct answer here. So the equation I have is 2x minus 3y is equal to 12, and the option I'm going to use it. Let me put x is equal to 3 and y is equal to minus 2. Okay, x is equal to 3 and y is equal to minus 2. That is in option C, and see what happens. So 2 into x value 3 minus 3 into y value minus 2. Okay, check whether it is right hand side and left hand side are equal. 2 3s are 6, minus of minus plus, 3 2s are 6. This is equal to 12. Definitely 6 plus 6 is 12 is equal to 12. Okay, so this is the right option. So as I told you, therefore the right option is x is equal to plus 3 and y is equal to minus 2. As I already told you, I just checked with option C. If you want, you can check it with the other three options. Definitely these values will not satisfy that equation. Any value which satisfies that equation would be the solution. Are you following it? It is as simple as that. So for the third question, the right option is option C. Okay, so let's move on to the question number 4. Moving on to the question number 4, identify the wrong statement with respect to a pair of linear equations. You have to find out which statement is wrong. If lines are parallel, there is no solution. Definitely this statement is correct. Okay, now just now we have checked it. If the unique solution means they intersect. Okay, we saw that this line is intersecting. That means they have unique solution. So option D is also right. Check for option C. Many solutions if the lines coincided with each other. Definitely coinciding line will have many solution. Now checking on to option B, if the lines are perpendicular to each other, there is no solution. Actually in your class or in your textbook, you don't have any condition for perpendicular lines. Okay, particularly with respect to solutions. So this is the wrong statement in the 4 options. Is it clear? So out of the 4 options, the wrong statement we have is option B, that is, if the lines are perpendicular to each other, there is no solution. Actually, the no solution is for parallel lines, not perpendicular lines. Okay, very simple condition. Only thing is you should know the content and the concept in detail. Okay, so this is not the platform to discuss the entire concept. Let's go on to the next question. So the next 5th question is that the 10th term of the arithmetic progression. So progression is given minus 3, minus 1, 1, 3 and so on. So you have to find out 10th term. 10th term is A10, which is question mark. Definitely A10 is nothing but A plus 10 minus 1, that is 90. As I told you, you have to be quick, use your smart work. So A is nothing but the first term, which is nothing but minus 3 plus 9 into D value. D value we know it is second term minus first term, or else you can take the difference between any two consecutive terms, particularly the succeeding minus preceding. So that is nothing but minus 1 minus of minus plus 4. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so put the value of D here. Now this is nothing but minus 3 plus what is this 9 3s are? We have 9. Sorry students, so minus of minus, actually this is not 4, excuse me, this is 3. So 3 minus 1 will give me 2. So if I substitute 2 here, you will get 9 2s, that is 18. So this is nothing but 18 minus 3, this is 15. Therefore A10 is nothing but 15. 10th term is 15. So check for the option. You have A is equal to 20, B is minus 21, C is minus 15 and D is equal to 15, which is your right answer, isn't it? Therefore the question number 5, the right answer is option D, which is 15. Okay, please be careful. So if you are in a hurry, you will just do the mistake which I was about to do. Thank God I corrected myself. Okay, yeah, so let's go on to the next question. So question number 6 is also on the chapter of arithmetic progression. Read the question. The nth term of an arithmetic progression is given by let's write down an is equal to 7 minus 4n. Okay, then the common difference is, remember, if you want to know the common difference, you have to at least know any two terms. So let me take a2 minus a1. So that means you have to find a2 and a1. So a1 would be 7 minus 4 into 1. So this is nothing but 7 minus 4, that is equal to 3. Similarly, a2 would be 7 minus 4 into 2, that is nothing but 7 minus 4 2s are 8. This is nothing but minus 1, isn't it? Okay, so let's be careful. Now d value would be given by a2. a2 value is, whenever you have negative sign, use a bracket, minus a1 value. a1 value is 3. So this is nothing but minus 1 minus 3, that is nothing but minus 4. Therefore, the common difference will be minus 4. So check for your option. You have 4 options there. Option A is 4, option B is minus 4, option C is 3, option D is minus 3. My right option was D is equal to minus 4, which you can find it in option B. So the right answer is option B. Okay. The questions sometimes would be quite simple. Only thing is you have to use your knowledge of the content. Okay. Right. Let's go on to the question number 7. So the question number 7 is as follows. 4a, b and 28 are in arithmetic progression. Then the value of b is. So note down, he is telling me 4a, b and 28 are in AP. Okay, there are many methods to try this. I will follow the simple method. Okay, since they are in AP, let me consider this as first term, second term, third term and fourth term. Okay, that means I have to find out b. B is unknown, which is nothing but a3, isn't it? So let us find this out. Let me consider the last term. A4 is nothing but actually 28, isn't it? What is A4? We all know A4 is equal to A plus 4 minus 1, that is 3D is equal to 28. Are you following? Yes. Now what is A? A is the first term, which is 4 plus 3D is equal to 28. Therefore, you will get 3D is equal to 28 minus 4 will give me 24. Therefore, D value is equal to 24 by 3. So, you are going to get 8 3s are 24. I got the value of D is 8. Therefore, let me go for B, which is nothing but A3. So, what is the value of A3? It is A plus 3 minus 1. That is nothing but 2D. So, this is equal to A value I have, which is 4 plus 2 into D value is 8. So this is nothing but 4 plus 8 2s are 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. So B value is 20. Check for your option. The right option is, please don't confuse. He is asking you the value of B, not the option B. Okay. So the right option is in option A, which is the correct answer, which is B value is 20. Option A is the right answer for question number 7. Very simple question, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Let's move on to the question number 8. So the next question is quite a tricky question, but you can definitely solve. Two arithmetic progression has the same common difference. Please note it down. Common difference is same. If the first term of the first progression is 3 and that of the other is 8. Okay, first term of the first progression, let me take the first progression, first term is 3, second progression, first term is 8, then the common difference between their third term, that is their third term. Okay, you have to find out the common difference between their third term. As I told you, first sequence, let me take A1, A2, A3 and so on, B1, B2, B3 and so on. Okay, the common difference in this case, let me take D and D dash. E is given you D is equal to D dash. You have to find out difference between, that is A3 difference B3. We don't know which is bigger one. So let me consider the difference between, that is common difference between their third terms. Okay. Dear students, this is a tricky one. I'll give you a simple hint. What is the hint means? If the terms are in AP, please note it down. If the terms are in AP and their common difference is same, then their consecutive terms common difference would be same. Are you following? That means in two APs, their common difference is same means, so difference between their first term, difference between their second term, difference between their third term, everything would be the same. Okay. Therefore, what you can write is, so please note this down, dear students. You may not find this in your textbook. If the terms are in AP with same D, that is common difference, then their difference between corresponding terms are same. That is A3 minus B3, or A3 difference B3 will be same as 3 difference 8. Therefore, since B3 is higher, bigger value, so B3 minus A3 is nothing but, I can take 8 minus 3. So B3 minus A3 will be 8 minus 3, a very simple value, 5. Okay, so check for your options. You have option A 2, option B 3, option C is 4, and definitely my right answer is option D, which is 5. Is it clear? Please note down this hint in your notes. Okay, yeah, we'll move on to the question number 9. The question number 9 is as follows. The sum of first n term of an arithmetic progression is given by the formula. He has given Sn. Let me write down, which is nothing but 3n square plus n. Okay. Then its third term means I want A3 is question mark. Okay. Please note down the formula. We have the formula An is equal to Sn minus S of n minus 1, isn't it? Therefore, please, so I want A3, isn't it? So A3 will be nothing but S3 minus its previous sum, that is S2. Okay, so let us find out S2 and S3. S2 is given by 3 into 2 square plus 2. So this is nothing but 2 square is 4, 4 3s is 12. So 12 plus 2 will give me 14. Okay. Similarly, let me find S3. S3 is nothing but 3 into 3 square plus 3. Remember, wherever n you have to put 3. So 3 square is 9. 9 3s is 27 plus 3. This is equal to 30. Okay. Now I'm going to find the value of A3. Therefore, A3 is nothing but S3 minus S2, which is nothing but S3 is 30 minus 14. So you are going to get the value as 16. So check for your options. You have 14, 16, 22 and 42. The right option, you can find it is in option B. The value is 16. Okay. Simple question and a tricky one also. Yeah. Let's go on to the question number 10 now. So question number 10 actually is a very simple question. The constant term in the quadratic equation, he has given a quadratic equation. Let me note it down. 3x square minus 3 into 2x minus 4 equal to 0. After reducing it to standard form, remember always any quadratic equation you have to bring it to standard form, then you have to check for constant term. It's a very simple question. Let me expand and bring it to constant term. So 3x square minus 3 2s are 6x. Please be very careful. Minus into minus becomes plus. 3 4s are 12 is equal to 0. Okay. So if you compare this to the standard form, you have ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So what is the constant term here? Definitely c. So therefore constant term here is nothing but c, and the value of c is nothing but 12. Okay, very simple question this is. Check for your option. You have option A 3, option B 4, option C minus 12 and option D plus 12. So plus 12 is the right answer, which you can find it in option D. So we have completed the question number 10. It's a very simple question, isn't it? You can definitely get the right answer if they ask similar question in the examination. Okay. In case in the examination, he may ask you the other way. For example, find the term, so find the coefficient of x square, he may say. If in this equation, if they ask you the coefficient of x square, then it is 3. Okay. Compare it to the general form. Okay. So you can definitely attempt such kind of questions if they have asked in the examination. Yeah, let's move on to the question number 11 now. The question number 11 is also quite a simple question. One of the roots of the quadratic equation, he has given a quadratic equation 2x minus 3 into x plus 5 equals to 0. Since he has already given the factors, please don't expand this. One of the root he has given as minus 5. You have to find out the other root. Okay, very simple equation. We know if the product of two terms is equal to 0, then you either get x plus 5 is equal to 0, or you will get 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So from here, you will get x is equal to minus 5, and that is the solution which he has already given. Okay, now let us find the other value from this equation. You will get 2x will give me plus 3 taking to right hand side. Therefore, the value of x would be nothing but 3 divided by 2, which is the other root. So check for the option. You have option A, which is 5. It's not a correct answer. Option B, minus 3 by 2. Please be careful, dear students. This is also not the right answer. Option C is the right answer, which you have 3 by 2 as the correct answer. Okay. Yeah, so we have concluded the question number 11. Let's move on to question number 12. So the next question we have is the nature of the roots of the quadratic equation. He has given a quadratic equation. Let me write it down. It is x square minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. So how do you find out the nature of the roots? It is decided by the discriminant value, which is delta, which is given by b square minus 4ac. Okay, so if you compare the given equation to the general form, we definitely know what is the b value here. B value is minus 2, so b square minus 4 into a value is the coefficient of x square, which is 1, and c value is the constant term, that is 1. So this is nothing but minus 2 square, minus square becomes plus, 2 square is 4, minus 4 into 1 into 4 is actually 4. What is 4 minus 4? 0. Therefore, the discriminant value is equal to 0. What will this imply? Discriminant value is equal to 0 implies the roots are, first of all, real. First of all, the roots are real and also equal. Okay, if the determinant value is 0, they are equal. Remember, there are only three cases. One is determinant value greater than 0, discriminant value equal to 0, discriminant value less than 0. If it is greater than 0, then real and unequal, distinct. Okay, the roots will be real and distinct. For equal to 0, the roots will be real and equal. And for greater than 0, delta less than 0, you will have imaginary roots, isn't it? You don't know the concept in detail. So yes, let's pick the correct answer. The roots are real and equal. You can find it in option A. This would be the correct answer for the above given question number 12. Without wasting our time, let's go on to question number 13. So question number 13 is also from the chapter of quadratic equation, but statement form converted into formulation. The sum of the squares, remember, read the question carefully. The sum of the squares of two consecutive odd natural numbers. It is odd. So if I consider x as any odd natural number, the next odd natural number would be x plus 2. Okay, for example, if I take 5 as the odd natural number, its next odd natural number would be 7. So what is the difference between them? 2. So 7 would be 5 plus 2. Okay, now I found out the two numbers, but what is the equation I'm going to get? Let's check the condition. The sum of the squares means if I take the square of x plus the square of x plus 2 whole square, this will be equal to 394. Okay, so this is the given condition here. Check whether this option, where you find it in option A, B, C, D. So x square plus x plus 1 whole square is equal to 394. Please be careful. He has given x square plus x plus 1. So option A is wrong. Option B, x square plus x plus 2 whole square is equal to 394. Yes, definitely option B is the right answer. If you want, you can check the other one. It is x plus 1 whole square plus x plus 2 whole square. Definitely not the right answer. X, you can check, see the difference here. B and D are very similar, but here small changes. It is x plus 2 whole square is 394. This is not the correct answer. The correct answer is option B. Please be careful, dear students, to confuse you. Sometimes two options would be having a very nearing answer. Okay, only if you observe the options, you will be able to find out the correct option. Okay, so we have done with question number 13. Moving on to question number 14. The 14th question is from the chapter of trigonometry. Very simple chapter reduced. In the given figure, angle B is equal to 90 degree. Means angle ABC is a right angled at B. He has given the values of AB, BC and AC as shown in the figure. Then the value of sine 90 degree minus theta. Please be very careful. See how to confuse you. Nothing to be confused here. Sine of 90 minus theta. We know what is the complementary angle of sine. If you have watched my previous trigonometry chapter, I have told you the complementary angle of sine is nothing but cos. Complementary means friends according to me. So friend of sine is cos. They both share 90 degrees. So sine of 90 minus theta would be cos theta. And we all know cos value is nothing but, now what is the ratio of cos theta? We know cos theta ratio is nothing but adjacent by hypotenuse. Adjacent by hypotenuse, isn't it? Therefore, cos theta will be equal to, look here, theta is here, for to this angle, adjacent side would be BC. So BC divided by hypotenuse is definitely AC. So that is equal to, substitute the values, BC is 8 and AC is nothing but 10. So check for the right answer. The option is cos theta should be 8 divided by 10. So 6 by 10 is option A, not the correct answer. 10 by 6, no. 10 by 8, no. And option D is the correct answer, 8 divided by 10. Okay. Students sometimes feel trigonometry problems are tricky, but actually trigonometry problems are very simple, provided you should know the basics concept in detail. Okay. So let's move to question number 15 now. This is quite a very simple question. If 2 sine theta, he has given 2 sine 2 theta is equal to root 3 he has given. You have to find out the value of theta. Okay. So from this I can write sine 2 theta is nothing but root 3 divided by 2. Okay. Therefore, sine 2 theta is nothing but, we know this is the standard angle for sine ratio, and we all know sine what value is root 3 by 2. Hope you know the table. This is nothing but sine 60 degrees, isn't it? So sine 60 degrees is equal to root 3 by 2. If you compare two LHS and RHS, you get 2 theta is equal to 60 degrees. Therefore, the value of theta would be what? 60 degrees divided by 2. This is nothing but 30 degrees. Okay, so the right option here is nothing. Right answer should be 30 degrees. Check for your option. Option A given is 90. That's not the correct answer. Option B is 60. That is also not the correct answer. The correct answer you can find it in option C, which is equal to 30 degrees. Is it clear? Sometimes the questions on trigonometry would be asked in a very simple way. Only thing is you have to be careful in finding out the right answers. Proceeding on to question number 16 now. So question number 16 is a mixture of circles, tangents and also the trigonometry. Okay, but you need not confuse. Look at the question. In a circle with center O, AC is the tangent. It's very visible here. AC is a tangent. We know tangent and the radius point of contact should be 90 degree. Okay, definitely 90 degree. If OC is equal to 4 centimeter given, ACO, what is ACO? That is ACO. This is 30 degrees given. Then the radius of the circle. What is actually radius of the circle here? OA, isn't it? So if you forget about the circle, if you just consider the triangle, definitely we have a right angle triangle, isn't it? So in a right angle triangle, he has given the hypotenuse. He is asking you if this is the triangle, if this is the angle here. Let me take, this is theta, which is given 30 degrees. So for 30 degrees, I want opposite side and I am given with hypotenuse. So therefore, consider this ratio which is having opposite by hypotenuse. Which is this ratio, dear students? Yeah, you all know sine ratio, that is sine theta is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse, isn't it? So comes substitute here. Therefore, sine of, what is the angle here? 30 degrees. So sine 30 is equal to, what is opposite? Opposite is your radius, OA, I don't know. Okay. Now hypotenuse, what is hypotenuse value? 4, isn't it? Yeah, so therefore, now what is sine 30 degrees? It's a very standard value, which is nothing but 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is equal to OA by 4. Therefore, cross multiply, OA is equal to 4 divided by 2. That is nothing but 2. Okay, so OA means the radius of the circle. That is now what I wanted. The right answer is radius should be 2 units. Please note down, dear students, don't skip the chapter of trigonometry. In this question paper, he has asked 5 questions on trigonometry. So the question number 16, the right option is option C, radius is 2 centimeter, isn't it? We have found out the answer. Moving on to question number 17. Question number 17 is a very simple question. He has given sine theta. If sine theta is equal to x by y, sine theta is x by y, you have to find out cos theta is question mark. Okay, hope you know the formula, dear students. Writing sine in terms of cos. So we know that cos theta is nothing but root of 1 minus sine square theta, because you get this relation from sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So we have sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. From there I am using it. Okay, this method is actually very simple for you. Otherwise you use the triangle process, it will take a lengthy time. So this cos theta is equal to square root of 1 minus sine theta whole square. What is actually sine theta? This is x divided by y whole square. This is nothing but square root of, you get 1 minus x square divided by y square. Let me take the LCM. You will get y square divided by x square divided by y square completely inside the root. Therefore, your cos theta would be numerator, you cannot take out the roots. Let me keep it as root of y square minus x square. In the denominator, if you split the denominator to get root of y square, that is nothing but simply y. Therefore, cos theta you get root of y square minus x square divided by y. So if you check for this answer in the given option, not A, definitely not B, definitely not C. So the right answer would be in option D, okay, which is root of y square minus x square divided by y. Okay, as I told you, there are 2 or 3 methods in finding the solution of this. I prefer this method because it's very simple. Otherwise, you can think of taking the right angle triangle, sine ratio is opposite by hypotenuse, and think all those things. You should finally you should be landing down at this point itself. Okay, yeah, let's move on to question number 18 now. The students, kindly pay attention to question number 18, because you don't find this question even in your textbook. Okay, question is quite a tricky one, but actually very simple one. So look here, if sine A plus sine square A is equal to 1, you have to find out cos square A plus cos power 4A. Please see how he has asked you. You have to find out cos square A plus cos power 4A is equal to question mark. Okay, now see how I'm going to solve it in a very simple way. Consider this from this part. Therefore, you will get sine A from here. You will get sine A is nothing but 1 minus sine square A, isn't it? Okay, therefore sine A is nothing but, actually what is 1 minus sine square? We all definitely know 1 minus sine square is nothing but cos square A. So I got sine A is equal to cos A. This is equation 1. If I square it, see what happens if I square it. That is squaring on both sides. I'll get sine square A is nothing but, if you take the square of square, you will get cos power 4A. Okay, we know this clearly. Is it clear? Just if you take the square, we know for cos square of square, we know a power of m power n is nothing but a power of m into n, isn't it? So 2 into 2 will give me cos power 4. Therefore, see what happens to equation, this equation. So I want cos square A plus cos power 4A, isn't it? So this is equal to, keep this cos square A as it is, plus what is actually cos power 4A. From here I will fetch the value. Cos power 4A is nothing but sine square A. Okay, this is a very standard result. Sine square A plus cos square A is purely 1. This is the basic trigonometric identity. isn't it? So we have got the solution. Let's check for the option. Option A is 1 by 2 wrong. B 2, that's wrong. C is 3, that's wrong. So the right answer is option D, which is 1. So cos square, please note down, dear students, he has not given cos square A. It should be cos square A. It's a printing mistake in English medium, but in Kannada medium it is cos square A. Okay. So definitely the right value is option D, which is 1. Okay. Moving on to question number 19. So the next question is pertaining to coordinate geometry. If origin is the midpoint of the line joining of the points A, that is 4, minus 6, and B, which is A, 2, the values of A and B are equal to. So this is with respect to depending upon the midpoint formula. So consider the situation here. Your origin, what is origin? 0, 0. This is the midpoint of the 2 points, which is 4, which is 4, point A, which is 4, minus 6, and point B, which is A, B. Okay. So what is the midpoint formula? We all know the midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 by 2 divided by y1 plus y2 divided by 2, isn't it? So using this situation, he has given the midpoint is nothing but origin, which is 0, 0. This is nothing but what is x1? x1 is 4 plus x2. x2 is actually a. So 4 plus a divided by 2, comma, y1 is actually minus 6 plus b. Please make a difference in writing b and 6 in a different way, divided by 2. Okay. So if you equate the terms separately, therefore you will get 4 plus a divided by 2 is equal to 0 just by equating the x coefficients. Okay. Therefore, if you cross multiply, you will get 4 plus a is equal to 2 into 0, that is 0. Okay. Therefore, a value is minus 4. Okay. Similarly, get the value of b, equating the y coefficient, that is y terms, that is minus 6 plus b divided by 2 is equal to 0. Cross multiply, you will get minus 6 plus b is equal to 0. Therefore, b is equal to, if you take it to right hand side, minus 6 becomes plus 6. Okay, so check for the values. A is equal to minus 4. You can find it in C and B. But along with that, B value also you should check, which is 6. So A is minus 4, B is plus 6. You can find it in option C, isn't it? So question number 19, option C is the right answer. Some questions, the questions are direct, you can get the answer very easily. Sometimes you have to make some small working. Okay. Yeah, let's go on to the one last question for the session, dear students. So for question number 19, there was much working, but question number 20 is a very simple question, a straightforward formula. The distance between the points A, x1, y1 and B, x2, y2 is given by the formula. What is this? Nothing but the distance formula. We all know distance formula is d is equal to square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, isn't it? Hope you don't have any doubt in this, because this is just a formula, there is no change. If you check this, x1 minus y1 whole square, definitely wrong. x1 minus y2 whole square, wrong. Please look here, this is d is equal to root of x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. Please note down, it has to be square here, not just x2 minus x1. That is why this option is wrong. So the right answer is option A, which is d is equal to root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Okay. Well, students, I want to wind up the session here because I don't want the video to be very lengthy. Just take a break with these 20 questions. In the next video, we are going to solve the other 20 questions starting from question number 21 to 40. Okay. Please practice these questions, and if they ask you the similar type of questions in the final exam, you will be able to do it easily. Well, students, kindly don't forget to support us by sharing the video with all of your friends, okay? Because most of them would be finding difficulty in finding the answers, and we are here to support you. So if you have liked this video, if you have at least liked, if you feel that this video has benefited you, then kindly like the video and you can share the video. If you are watching the video for the first time, it means if you are new to our channel, kindly subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to get all the notifications of the upcoming videos. Okay, dear students, so thanks for watching the video. We'll meet again in the next session with the remaining 20 questions. Until then, keep working and so always have a goal in your